All right, let's jump right into this equity research analysis of Bliss GVS Pharma. We're going to break down a report from IndiaCorp Insight and really get to grips with the strategic position of this pretty unique pharmaceutical company.
So right out of the gate, the report labels the company's fundamental state as stable over a 5-year window. That gives us our baseline, a solid foundation. But as always, the devil is in the details, so let's dig in.
You know, any good investment thesis really needs to start with a strong competitive advantage. So first up, let's figure out what exactly makes up Bliss GVS's business note.
Okay, so what is their secret sauce? Well, you're looking right at it. A whopping 75% of their entire business is in suppositories and pessaries. Now, this isn't just another product line. You can think of it as a fortress. And why is that? Because making these things is really complex. That complexity creates a huge barrier for other companies to even try to get in, which means very little competition. And you know what low competition means, right? Strong pricing power for Bliss GVS.
Okay, so we've established they have a pretty solid moat. Now let's build the bull case. What are the catalysts that could really drive this stock higher?
The first piece of the puzzle for the bulls is this strategic expansion. They are putting down deeper roots in Africa, and more specifically with a brand new subsidiary in the DR Congo. This is a big deal. It's not just about selling in a new country. It's a fundamental shift in their business model, moving away from a volatile, tender-based system to a much more stable, on-the-ground distribution network.
And here's the proof in the pudding. The financial results from this strategy are pretty clear. The company's profit for the first 9 months of fiscal year 26 jumped by 32% year over year. Now, this isn't just one good quarter. The report sees this as real confirmation of a structural turnaround in how the company operates, and it's all being funded by a healthy net cash balance sheet.
Now let's talk numbers, specifically valuation. This is where it gets really interesting. Bliss GVS is trading at a price-to-earnings ratio of about 15.8. Okay, hold that number in your head. The average for the rest of the sector, 23.6. That's a huge difference. What you're seeing here is a pretty significant valuation gap, which for a lot of investors screams margin of safety.
And it's not just us noticing. Take a look at this chart. It shows a steady climb in foreign institutional investor, or FII, holding. It's now over 14.5%. This is what many call smart money, and the fact that their stake is growing validates that there's some real institutional confidence building around this company's turnaround story, especially after they posted strong Q1 numbers.
But of course, no analysis is worth its salt without looking at the other side of the coin. To keep a balanced perspective, we absolutely have to consider the risks here, the bear case. And here it is, the primary risk, plain and simple. Even with that strong year-over-year growth, the most recent quarter, Q3 of fiscal year 26, actually saw revenue dip sequentially by about 10.7%. This really shines a light on the inherent volatility you get when you operate in emerging markets. Demand can be choppy, and when you pair that with operating margins shrinking to just under 16%, it's a definite point of caution.
All right, so we've looked at the bull case, built on that strong moat and growth, and the bear case, which is really all about volatility. Let's try to bring it all together for a final verdict and take a peek at the outlook.
First things first, let's talk governance. Management has been pretty proactive lately. They came out and flatly denied some rumors that were floating around about the promoters selling their stake, which helps clarify their long-term commitment. And at the same time, they declared a 50% interim dividend, which is a great way to reward shareholders and signal confidence in their cash flow.
So where does the report land on all this? The final verdict is to accumulate on dips, with a particular eye on a support zone between 200 and 205 rupees. This is a classic growth at a reasonable price scenario. The core idea is that the long-term structural turnaround is a compelling enough story to outweigh any of the short-term bumps we see in the quarterly numbers.
And finally, let's just zoom all the way out. Let's forget the quarterly reports for a second and look at the big technical picture. This monthly chart is, well, it's fascinating. What you're seeing is a stock that is trying, right now, to break out of a massive consolidation range that it's been stuck in for nearly a decade. I mean, since 2015. And anyone who follows the charts knows that when these huge, long-term ranges finally break, the move can be absolutely explosive. So it really leaves us with one massive question. After 10 years of going sideways, is this the moment? Is this when that turnaround story we've been talking about finally ignites a historic breakout?